Hello dear viewers, welcome to this edition of the news in English on Rwanda Television with me, Serge Nhore and
William Evans Mtabazi.
Let us begin with the headlines.
Rwanda has begun repairs on 290 buildings that were damaged by the cross-border shelling from DRC armed forces in January. All through this week, Rwanda participated in the International Conference on Forensic Science-Based Evidence used in justice in the US. Uncertainty is looming over US-Ukraine relations as Ukraine enters the fourth year of its war with Russia. And now, Rwanda government has started the repair of 200 houses damaged by the, I beg your pardon, Rwanda government has started the repair of 293 houses damaged by the FARDC and genocidal FDR coalition shelling in the Rwanda district. We have details.
As M23 fought to capture Goma, the Congolese army FARDC, in collision with the genocidal forces FDLR, deliberately shelled into Rwandan territory, claiming lives of 16 civilians and 161 were wounded. 293 houses were also recorded to have been damaged heavily by the shellings. The Ministry of Emergency Management states that in these houses, 10 were heavily destroyed and requires reconstructing new ones. In a monthly Umuganda community work in Rwanda district, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Emergency Management, Philippe Habinshuti, affirms that the government of Rwanda will ensure repairment of the damaged. Habinshuti also reiterates that these activities will cost over 500 million Rwanda francs and be completed by May 2025. We are reconstructing these houses to be even more strong. There are those that will be reconstructed from basis, and there are those that will be made on some changes. This demonstrates the government's will to support citizens. Priority is security, and it is there. Another is their well-being. Citizens affected by this shelling applaud the government's continued support since the shelling in January. I thank the government on how they easily support us. They came since this happened and they gave us new homes while we're waiting for these renovations. In Rwanda district, there are also 7 schools affected heavily and renovations also began.
200 families in Musanze district that were affected by the recent disasters in the northern region have started receiving new homes. These families describe this initiative as outstanding, acknowledging the government's efforts and stating that they will take good care of the houses as they put an end to their constant displacement. Initially, 115 houses are being constructed under this program, with a second phase to follow, during which 85 more houses will be built. Some of the beneficiaries say these houses are highly needed, as even though the government had rented temporary accommodations for them, living in such conditions was still challenging due to difficult environments. The government of Rwanda, through the Ministry of Emergency Management, is undertaking this housing project with the support of the World Bank. The houses granted to the affected citizens by President Paul Kagame will be built using modern standards to ensure resilience against climate change. The Minister of Defense and government focal point for Musanze district, Juvenal Marizamunda, together with other officials, including those from Musanze district, joined residents of Musanze sector in Kabazungu Cell for a community work event marking the beginning of the construction. He urged the beneficiaries to take good care of these facilities given the significant investment made and to uphold the culture of seeking solutions from within. It is expected that the first phase of 115 houses will be completed by the end of April, while the remaining 85 houses will be finished by the end of this year of 2025. The entire project will cost over 800 million Rwandan francs.
The Tour du Rwanda 2025 that will begin on Sunday will be the 17th edition since it's tomorrow on Sunday, Rwanda will be hosting international cycling event known as the Tour du Rwanda. The race will begin specifically at Amahoro Stadium and it will cover 4 kilometers. We have a report. Tour du Rwanda 2024 happening on Sunday will be the 17th edition since it became international, marking the 7th time it reaches the 2.1 level. This is a highlight of the 15 teams expected in status of the pro teams participating this time will be Israel's Premier Tech and Total Energies from France. The continental teams include Roto Destiny from Belgium, Team Amani from Rwanda, Bike Aid from Germany, Development Team DSM Faminich Postinel from Netherlands, Java Innovatech and Meisters from Rwanda, and United Arab Emirates. The national teams are Rwanda, Angola, South Africa, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and the UCI World Cycling Center, made up of advanced African teams. Rwanda will be represented by Team Rwanda, while other teams of interest to Rwandans include Java Innovatech and Meisters. Among the strongest teams to look out for is Israel Premier Tech. This was founded in 2014, and for 10 years, it has been a strong team that began to perform well on the international stage. In 2024, Roy Baron and Ren had the idea of establishing a cycling team to help young talents in cycling in Israel. The Israel Cycling Academy between 2014 and 2019 held that name until 2022 when it signed an agreement with Premier Tech, a company from Canada, from which point it adopted the name Israel Premier Tech. Israel Premier Tech has the English rider Joseph Backmore, who won last year's competitions. He's expected to return, facing strong competition from Eritrean's Henok, who won the Tour in 2023. Bike Aid, established in 2012, is another team to watch out for. It is based in Germany and has participated multiple times in this competition with players who have won stages in the past. For instance, in 2015, Maxeb de Basse won the first stage, and in 2016, Rwandan Jambos Konsenjimana won the 5th stage of the Tour of Cameroon, as well as the 4th stage in Chantal. This team is well known in Rwanda and highly regarded. EAU team, Emirates XRG, is another team to keep an eye on in this tour. Established in 2005, it is a top team, but in 2018, it did not compete internationally. In 2020, Pogačar from Slovenia won the competition for the first time and repeated it in 2021 and 2024. Pogačar also added the World Road Race Championship to his achievement. However, not all top players will be present. Instead, there will be riders who have not been able to compete in high-level competitions, as mentioned above.
And now, Rwandan National Police has announced that it is fully prepared to ensure the security and safety of participants in Tour du Rwanda 2025. In an interview with RBA, the spokesperson revealed that the police officers from Traffic Safety Department will be stationed along the entire race route. Additionally, the police will deploy 38 officers using 17 police motorcycles and 7 police escort vehicles. The officers along the motorcycles and vehicles will accompany the race from start to finish, ensuring road safety, escorting participants, and alerting speculators to clear the road. More details on this story.
This year, like any other years, Tour du Rwanda has been organized in partnership with many stakeholders, including police, and we come in as a provider of security, safety, and maintaining public order during the entire event. And I want to take this opportunity to assure everyone that on our side, we are ready to deploy enough resources to make sure that the competition is conducted and completed successfully. And we want to assure everyone that we are there for everyone, including participants in the race. And also we urge spectators to be cautious and take care of themselves, take care of the children, and respect rules, and also respect guidance that will be provided by the police along the roads. But specifically, 38 police officers are going to be part of the competition throughout. I mean, they'll be moving alongside with participants. We have 17 motorcycles that are going to be leading the race, and also 7 cars that are going along the competition. And these are not just for decoration anyways. No, they're there to ensure that participants are well protected, are safe, and are not interrupted in any way along the way. But also we're going to have police officers in certain specific areas that we think people may gather around those areas, make sure that there is a public order and no one interrupts the racing. So I can simply say that on our side, as a police, Rwanda National Police, we are well prepared and we are very confident that the racing, the competition will be safe and successful. We observed tendencies of people being excited, maybe not deliberately, but out of unconscious moving towards the main roads, coming closer and closer, during this kind of competition, each and everyone wants to have a sport where he or she can have a nice look, a nice competition. So in that situation, you have everyone pushing towards the road to make sure that they have this good look. But that's why we're there, to make sure that there is certain lines they don't cross, so that make sure that the race is run successfully. So we have not experienced any case, except participants themselves, where, of course, sometimes they involve in accident, which has nothing to do with anyone outside the participants. So all of those situations are well managed, because during this competition, Ministry of Health provides lots of health facilities, including ambulances, in case such interventions are required. But honestly, we haven't experienced anything very serious. But again, we don't remain complacent. We need to be always cautious that anything can happen. That's why we deploy in advance. That's why we plan ahead. That's why we deploy all these resources to make sure that we maintain this record that we're having. Our responsibility to make sure that participants, spectators, officials, and whoever is in this competition, they conduct their business in a very safe environment. That's what we're doing. Of course, we recognize and appreciate that they come with expensive equipment, computers, telephones, cameras, and other important gadgets that help them in their work. So we make sure that themselves and their property are safe. We're always where they begin the racing, and we're always with them along the way, but we are at this place, at the destination, where they gather at the end of the competition. So I think that should be assurance for everyone that we are there for them. The general message, I wish everyone success, but also I need to urge the public to take caution, be cautious, and allow participants in the Tour du Rwanda to participate safely without interruption, interferences, and the police will be around to guide everyone.
The spokesperson of the Rwanda National Police, ACP Boniface Rutikanga, speaking to our colleague Francine Mutesi earlier. Now let's head to Baltimore in the U.S., where all through this week Rwanda participated in the International Conference on Forensic Science-Based Evidence Used in Justice held at the Baltimore Convention Center. Rwanda attended the conference upon the invitation of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. A forensic evidence expert and president of the African Forensic Sciences Academy, Dr. Antonelle Olkers, has noted that the continued presence of the Rwanda Forensic Institute among the world's leading institutions and its invitation to major conferences is strong proof of the country's good leadership. The doctor also mentioned that Rwanda has gained global recognition in the field, expressing confidence that it will become a hub of such services in Africa.
So AFSA, together with RFI, is saying we are going to show the world that we exist, not only that, but the quality, the excellence that we have in Africa. So AFSA has one of its goals to showcase the excellence that already exists in Africa, but because we as Africans are quiet about it, the rest of the world does not know. And the RFI is saying this is the quality of our lab. This is the standard of our lab. It's global standard. It's on par with the rest of the world. So we are at the American Academy to showcase what we have and also to invite our colleagues to come to Africa and to experience for themselves and to see for themselves, yes, what forensic science is about, but also definitely to visit Rwanda, which is an amazing country in Africa for many reasons.
The leadership of the Rwanda Forensic Institute has stated that attending such conferences has helped to promote their services at an international level, especially as the institute aims to expand its services to multiple countries. The leadership has also emphasized that it was an excellent opportunity to connect with new partners, to showcase the country and enhance knowledge and technology used in the field.
Networking is really an advantage for us, Rwanda Forensic Institute, because we can exchange our knowledge or get knowledge from those experts who has been working in forensic science for a long time. We have a lot of plans in Rwanda Forensic Institute, a lot of projects, so for most of them it's quite useful to do it in partnership with either academics or forensic scientists, policymakers sometimes also. The last point is also to learn about the new technologies, because a place like this with the presentation, scientific presentation, but also with the exhibition is a good opportunity to be in contact with all the new technologies already available or nearly to be available.
The Rwanda Forensic Institute has been invited to similar conferences across different continents, including Africa, Australia, America, and Europe. The institute has also hosted two major international conferences, including AFSA 2024 and ASFM 2023, and is among the contenders to host the world's leading forensic science conference in 2029.
And moving on matters agriculture, maize farmers in Ngoma district are urged to pay attention to maize harvest by properly drying it to ensure it remains in good condition, as well as to use taps to protect the maize during the drying process. We have a report. Although the harvest did not meet expectations due to climate change impacts, farmers in Jerema and Mujesera sectors of Ngoma, known for their high-quality maize, are becoming aware of the importance of preserving the harvested yield. These farmers report that properly dried maize holds greater market value and does not pose health risks. The importance of this particular drying style is to ensure our maize harvest dries properly while keeping it clean too. Other ways might expose the maize to dampness, which affects its quality and the market price too. When the maize is ready for harvest, we harvest it, then keep it in a shed like the one behind me. This way, they are kept clean and safe from rain. Rain, of course, makes maize damp and develops molds which can cause diseases to humans. If we do not handle our harvest properly, it might end up dirty and compromised in terms of quality, which also affects the market prices. Among the benefits of this type of drying is that you have all your produce in one place, which makes it easy for buyers since they find it in the same place. We ensure that we keep the harvest safe, and this makes it heavy. Division Manager Crop Post Harvest and Processing Management at Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resource Development Board encourages farmers to ensure that they harvest ready to harvest maize carefully and maintain its cleanness. The first important thing farmers have to consider is that they harvest crops that are ready for harvest in a timely manner to ensure that the quality of maize flour is not compromised. Another thing is we encourage them to use taps to ensure that maize grains have no sand or stones. In the 2025A agriculture season, Ngoma district planted maize over an area of 20,753 hectares, targeting a yield of 4.2 tons per hectare. The region has a total of 64 permanent drying facilities, while temporary structures built by the community amount to 2,045.
And now, Melsi Nduhutse, a professional comedian, encourages young people to value their talent. He sat down with Enora Gladys.
In his secondary school, Merci Ndarhutse says that's when he first discovered his talent for comedy and started showcasing it.
I remember in high school, someone told me that the things I do for free are actually a source of income for others. He then explained how I could become a great comedian and gave me examples of well-known comedians in Rwanda and around the world. That's when I realized I was capable of it.
As time went by, his talent for comedy began to bring new opportunities, and he realized that it was a profession that could help him grow.
My first show was Ijoro rya Rutura, and that was prepared by Arthur, and there were other comedians like Arthur himself, Ben Nganji, and others. I remember my first show was in Gikondo, and I performed successfully, even getting paid very well. After the holidays, when I went back to school, I organized a comedy show, charging students 300 Rwandan francs. I also tried to encourage the class monitors to tell as many people as possible to attend, which was very successful. I ended up making 200 Rwandan francs, which as a high school student was a lot back then.
In 2022, he founded a comedy platform called Gen Z Comedy Show. This became the major catalyst for his growth.
Actually, the Meet Me Tonight session came after the Gen Z comedy show. At first, I wanted it to be a show of its own, and I was also thinking of putting it on my YouTube channel. But later, it became a part of the Gen Z comedy show. As young people, you must give a clear reason for others to help you so that you can reach another level in a short time. But in reality, the reason is that you are the one doing the work.
Like all entrepreneurs, he mentions that challenges are part of his journey.
It is really tough, and art is hard. When someone tells me that a show has been difficult for them, I really feel them. You know, when people appreciate what you do, you feel like they deserve more. But remember, don't be afraid to give what you have, because a person should be proud of their level.
Currently, Merci Ndarhutse has won awards that support his work, including the Youth Connect Awards, where he won up to 10 million Rwandan francs, and he also employs about 50 permanent staff. He expresses his gratitude to the Rwandan government for providing opportunities for youth activities, as it empowers them to continue their work. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Halo, waramutse shiri wanjye.
Utekereza ko guhora wivugana n'umushu aribyo birenze? Natwe niko tubibona. Ubona nta cyakurutira kugaragaza impano yawe. Niko bimeze.
So guys, uyu munsi tugiye kuganira tugaseke. Agaseke njye gafite byinshi. Kamari, ese wowe akumariye iki? Manudi. Halo Manudi, niba iki uri kunkura mu kazi? Hero mabuja, byahiye kandi noneho bimeze neza cyane. Ukuntu biri no guhumura. Ako Manudi, urumva nakumva ko ibiryo bihumura koko?
Ubona nta cyakurutira umwuga wawe. Erega, natwe niko tubibona. Dushyigikiye buri kimwe agaciro mu buzima bwawe na irekure nshya. Buri wese arahishiwe, wikwisondeka. Kanda akanyenyeri 150 urwego, uhitemo agaseke kawe ka packs zo guhamagara, cyangwa akanyenyeri 345 urwego, uhitemo bando za internet uryoherwe n'umuvuduko wa 4G.
Welcome back, and now on to the international scene. Uncertainty looms over US-Ukraine relations as Ukraine enters the fourth year of its war with Russia. Recent shifts Washington rhetoric have raised fears that Ukraine could be pressured into unfavorable peace deals or be left to confront Russia without US support. While most Ukrainians, of course, are now in favor of peace talks, many insist that any settlement should be on Ukraine's terms. VOA has more.
The Razum Medical Center in Kyiv was opened in February 2024 by war veteran Petro Krasitsky and his family doctor. After serving in the army in 2015 and again following Russia's invasion, Krasitsky envisioned the clinic during his recovery from 2 strokes and multiple concussions. With Ukraine's veteran population expected to reach 4 to 5 million, he says he sees the center as an investment in the country's future.
If we didn't believe in the future of our country, we wouldn't have started any of this. There will be no medical center. We would have simply gone abroad, and that would have been the end of it.
Many in Ukraine share Krasitsky's optimism, but recent shift in U.S. policy and rhetoric have many worried about the country's future as it enters a 4th year of war with Russia. Ukrainians fear that wavering U.S. commitment could undermine efforts to hold back the Russian invaders and weaken Ukraine's position at any future negotiations. Maria Mezintseva, a lawmaker from President Volodymyr Zelensky's ruling party, told VOA that the pressure is high and that some messages about Ukraine are disappointing.
We still expect just peace, fair negotiations, and nothing to be decided about Ukraine without Ukraine. We are expecting tough times, but I already see this unity, which we started probably to lose a little bit, coming back. And maybe these shakeups are needed for the purpose.
Gallup's latest survey shows 52% of Ukrainians support peace talks. Alexei Melnik from the Razumkov Center, a Ukrainian public policy think tank, notes that he sees growing sense of realism in Ukrainian society about the prospect for peace.
There is a general understanding that the ceasefire, possible ceasefire, is not the end of the war. The prevailing opinion is that if Americans and Russians achieve some kind of agreement about a ceasefire, it will be just another kind of interwar period.
Civilian casualties in Ukraine increased by 16% in the 3rd year of the war, with over 1,600 deaths, as airstrikes targeting civilians tripled, according to US-based conflict tracker ECLI. On the streets of Kyiv, many hope peace talks will bring an end to the hostilities, but are not happy with the idea of making concessions to Russia and President Vladimir Putin.
До процесу початку перемовин ставлюсь позитивно, але дуже важко.
I am positive about the process of starting negotiations, but it is very difficult to talk about it on the terms we're hearing. The most important thing Ukraine needs right now is confidence that there is support, both within the country and from foreign allies.
Є підтримка, як і всередині країни, так і зовнішніх союзників.
Negotiations should be on our terms. Given the compromises being suggested, I believe it would be a loss, and that is not what we've been fighting for over the past 3 years.
After 3 years of resisting Russian aggression, Ukraine is enduring one of its most challenging periods as its forces slowly lose ground in the east. Few, if any, Ukrainians want to see the country give up land and hope the U.S. can be convinced to stay on their side, them keep their country whole. Was Anna Chernikova in Kyiv, Miroslava Gongadze, VOA News, Warsaw.
That report has brought us to the end of this edition. However, before we go, let us again take a look at the headlines.
Rwanda has begun repairs on 293 buildings that were damaged by crossfire shelling from the DRC's armed forces in January. While all through this week, Rwanda participated in the international conference on forensic science-based evidence used in justice held in the US. On the international scene, uncertainty is looming over US-Ukraine relations as Ukraine enters its 4th year of its war with Russia.
As always, we thank you so much for taking the time to join us for this edition. My name is Sarah Shinhore.
And William Evans Mtabazi.
We'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye.